What if I told you the foresight investments I built in my spare time now make more money than my full-time job and I don't work extra hours to earn it? Small, consistent investments can outperform a full-time salary when you choose scalable income sources instead of trading time for money. Most people grow up believing that the only reliable way to earn is to work a job, clock in, clock out, and repeat that cycle for decades. But the truth is that a job pays you linearly. You only earn when you show up. The moment you stop working, the income stops too. That structure alone limits your potential because there are only so many hours in a day and only so much energy you can put into that time, no matter how hard you work. Your earning capacity inside a job will always be capped. Consistent investments, however, don't follow that rule. They work even when you're not working. They grow while you sleep, while you travel, while you rest, and while you take care of other responsibilities. But the key is choosing investments that scale. Scalability is the ability for something to grow without requiring your direct time in equal proportion. When you drop small amounts of money or effort into something that scales, it has the potential to multiply far beyond the hours you personally put in. This is the core difference between traditional work and strategic investing. A job pays you once for each hour. A scalable investment can pay you hundreds or thousands of times for the same effort. Imagine two paths. On one path, you show up every morning, work 8 hours, and get paid for 8 hours. If you want to earn more, you have to work more or wait for someone else to approve your promotion. On the other path, you invest an hour into creating something, a product, a piece of content, a digital asset, an automated system, and that single hour can pay you repeatedly. Over time, those repeated payouts add up, eventually surpassing what a job could offer for the same amount of time. This is why consistency matters. Not massive investments, not risky all-in decisions, but steady, intentional actions that build assets instead of just consuming your time. When people hear investments, they usually think of the stock market or real estate, but scalable investments don't always require large amounts of capital. Sometimes the most powerful investments are the small ones made into knowledge, skills, digital products, systems, brands, or content libraries. The beauty of these investments is that they grow because of the internet's unlimited reach. You don't need a giant office, a team of employees, or huge startup money. You just need to create something that has the potential to serve more people than you could physically reach on your own. That's scalability, and it allows your income to rise, even if your hours do not. Another reason small, consistent investments outperform salaries is compounding. Compounding is not just a financial principle. It applies to skills, reputation, audience, systems, and assets. Every small effort builds on the previous one. Every piece of content strengthens your digital footprint. Every new skill increases your earning potential. Every new customer adds to your base for future sales. Over time, the seeds you planted begin to grow roots and produce results far bigger than the individual actions that created them. A single video, post, or digital product you create today might still be generating income years from now, long after you've forgotten about it. A job can't do that. A job resets at zero every morning. When you rely solely on a job, you're essentially relying on one income stream and one person's approval, your employer's. But when you invest in scalable assets, you're building something that you own and control. Ownership is one of the most underrated financial advantages. When you own the asset, you own the income. And when the asset scales, the income scales with it. You're no longer limited by your hours. You're only limited by your imagination, creativity, and consistency. Another important part of this idea is leverage. Employees rely on their own effort. Investors and creators rely on leveraged effort. They use digital platforms, technology automation, and distribution networks to multiply their impact. A simple example is a digital product you create at once, upload it to a platform, and the platform handles the delivery, transactions, and global distribution. That means your single effort gets amplified without your ongoing time investment. This is leverage at work, and it's the foundation of why side investments can eventually outperform a salary. Small investments also feel safer and easier to commit to. Instead of putting everything at risk, you build piece by piece, layer by layer, you experiment, you test ideas. You learn what works and what doesn't. Over time, you gain confidence, and those small investments begin to snowball. The early stages might feel slow because you're building foundations, not chasing quick payouts. But once the foundation is in place, growth accelerates. The money starts to show up in ways that feel almost unfair compared to the effort you put in. That's the moment you realize you're no longer trapped in the limited structure of trading hours for dollars. You're earning through systems, not time. Eventually, these scalable investments can surpass your job not just in income, but in freedom. A job might pay your bills, but an asset can fund your lifestyle. A job limits your schedule, but scalable income opens your time. Instead of worrying about how many hours you need to work to survive, you start focusing on how to grow the assets you've built. That shift from worker to owner, from time trader to investor, is what transforms long-term wealth. None of this requires massive resources. It only requires intention, consistency, and the willingness to build something that lasts longer than your workday. In the end, small, consistent investments outperform a full-time salary because they break you out of the cycle of exchanging time for money. They allow you to create income that multiplies, compounds, scales, and grows without needing you to constantly push. They unlock financial freedom by shifting your focus from working harder to working smarter. While a job pays you once, an investment can pay you forever. That's the power of scalable income, and that's why even the smallest investments, when made consistently, can grow into something far bigger than anything a 9-to-5 could ever offer. Passive income streams provide financial stability because they aren't tied to the hours you work, giving you the freedom to earn continuously, even when life slows you down. Most people grow up with a mindset shaped around active income. You work, you get paid, you don't work, you don't earn. This creates a fragile financial structure, one where your entire livelihood depends on your ability to physically show up every single day. If anything interrupts that, illness, burnout, family needs, emergencies, job loss, your income immediately suffers. That's not stability, that's dependency. Passive income breaks this dependency by creating income sources that continue to operate regardless of your daily involvement. At its core, passive income is about setting up systems, assets, or investments that keep generating money with minimal ongoing effort. This doesn't mean no work at all. It means front-loaded effort that pays off over and over again. When you create or buy something that earns on its own, you're building a financial buffer between your life and your livelihood. Instead of being forced to constantly trade time for money, you begin getting paid for the value embedded in the assets you own. This shift fundamentally changes your financial stability because it removes the one-to-one connection between effort and earnings. Imagine the difference between working 8 hours for a wage versus owning a digital product that sells at all hours to customers in different time zones without you touching it. One requires your presence, the other pays you even when you're asleep, busy, relaxing, or spending time with your family. That means if something unexpected happens, your job hours get cut, you get sick for a few days, or you need to travel, your income doesn't collapse. You have streams that continue flowing. That's real stability, the kind no employer can promise you. One of the biggest advantages of passive income is diversification. When you rely solely on a job, you have one income stream under someone else's control with one point of failure. But when you build multiple passive income streams, like digital products, affiliate marketing, rental income, dividends, or automated online businesses, you spread out your financial risk. If one stream slows down, others can pick up the slack. This reduces financial anxiety and gives you more confidence because your income is no longer tied to a single source or a single person's approval. Passive income also offers emotional stability. Knowing that money is coming in regardless of your day-to-day situation reduces stress and allows you to make better decisions. You're no longer forced to accept toxic workplaces, micromanaging bosses, or overwhelming workloads just because you need the paycheck. When you have financial backup, you have bargaining power. You can say no. You can walk away from situations that don't serve you. You can take breaks without feeling guilty or fearful. That psychological freedom alone is life-changing. Another overlooked aspect is time leverage. In a normal job, your income resets every morning. You have to start from zero to earn again. But with passive income, your previous efforts keep working for you. Every product you create, every video you upload, every system you build, every asset you acquire continues to operate. Over months and years, these small streams begin to compound. What started as trickles eventually turn into rivers. And because they don't require your hourly presence, you can stack multiple passive income sources on top of each other. It's something you could never do with traditional work. You can't work 10 full-time jobs, but you can own 10 income-generating assets. Financial stability also comes from predictability, and passive income often becomes more predictable over time. In the beginning, earnings might fluctuate, especially if you're building digital or online-based assets. But as your audience grows, your products improve, and your systems become more efficient, those passive streams begin to stabilize. Patterns emerge, traffic grows, engagement increases, and your earning base becomes more consistent. This consistency allows you to plan better, budget better, and save more effectively than when relying on a single paycheck that could disappear at any time. Passive income also frees up time you can reinvest into building more assets, learning higher income skills, or simply living your life more fully. When you're not trapped in the cycle of working full time just to meet basic expenses, you unlock the ability to think bigger. You gain mental space to focus on long-term goals instead of constantly firefighting short-term financial pressure. This is what leads people to create generational wealth, the ability to step back, strategize, and build assets that last beyond their own working years. Another important point is that passive income gives you control over your financial growth. With a job, your income depends on someone else's decisions, your boss's mood, the company's performance, the economy, or corporate restructuring. But passive income puts the power back in your hands. You create the asset, you set the price, you decide when to scale, when to automate, and when to pivot. This ownership means your financial stability grows with your efforts, creativity, and strategic choices, not with someone else's approval. Even small passive income streams can transform your life. Imagine earning an extra $5 a day from an ebook, a $10 a day from affiliate links, $50 a week from dividends, or a few $100s a month from a skill-based online service. These amounts may seem small at first, but they stack. And more importantly, they represent income that doesn't rely on your daily labor. Over time, that extra money can pay bills, relieve debt, fund investments, or eventually replace your job completely. The ultimate benefit of passive income is freedom. Freedom from worry, freedom from burnout, freedom from dependence on a single paycheck, and freedom to live life on your own terms. It gives you the ability to choose your workload, your projects, your schedule, and your lifestyle without fear of financial collapse. And it all starts with small, consistent actions that build assets capable of earning even when you're not working. Passive income streams create true financial stability by breaking the link between time and money, diversifying your earnings, reducing stress, leveraging time, building long-term predictability, and giving you the power to control your financial future. While a job provides income, passive income provides security, resilience, and freedom. And in today's world, the combination is worth far more than any salary alone. Building multiple income streams gives you long-term security because you're no longer dependent on a single paycheck or a single employer. When most people rely on just their 9-to-5 job, they're placing their entire financial life in the hands of one company, one manager, one industry, and sometimes even one economic condition. This creates a dangerous vulnerability. If anything happens, a layoff, recession, company restructuring, burnout, illness, or even unexpected life events, the income stops immediately. That's the problem with single source income. It feels stable until the moment it isn't. True stability comes from having options, and options come from having multiple streams of income that protect you from financial uncertainty. When you build more than one income stream, you create a safety net that continues to support you even if one source slows down. It's like adding legs to a table. The more legs it has, the harder it becomes to knock over. If one leg becomes weak, the table still stands strong. In the same way, when you rely only on a salary, your financial world can collapse with a single decision from someone else. But when you have multiple streams, side investments, passive income, digital products, skills-based services, dividends, rental income, content revenue, you maintain balance. Your financial life becomes stronger and more resilient because it doesn't depend on one point of failure. Multiple income streams also unlock freedom, not just security. When you have money coming in from different places, your job is no longer your only source of survival. This gives you negotiation power and confidence. You don't have to tolerate toxic work environments, unfair treatment, or burnout just to keep a paycheck. You become less afraid of losing your job because you know you have other income supporting you. This psychological relief changes the way you move through life. You make decisions based on what's best for your future instead of what's necessary for short-term survival. One of the biggest advantages of multiple income streams is diversification. Think of it like an investment portfolio. No smart investor puts all their money into one stock. Instead, they spread it across different assets to reduce risk. The same rule applies to your income. By building various money makers, some passive, some active, some scalable, some low maintenance, you create a portfolio of earnings that work together to support you. Even if one stream goes down due to market changes or personal circumstances, the others can continue sustaining you. This is the true meaning of financial independence, not millions in the bank, but income that is spread out, diversified, and reliable. Multiple income streams also open the door to unlimited earning potential. A job pays you based on time, not impact. No matter how much value you create for the company, you're still paid the same hourly rate or monthly salary. But when you build income streams outside your job, each one has the potential to grow on its own. You can scale them, automate them, improve them, or expand them without being limited by working hours. Over time, these streams can grow into much larger sources of income than your salary ever could. What starts as a small side hustle or tiny investment can multiply into something powerful enough to replace or exceed your full-time job. There's also compounding, not just in money, but in skills, opportunities, and networks. When you build multiple streams, you learn new skills, gain new experiences, and meet people who open even more doors. Maybe you start a small online business, and along the way, you learn marketing, content creation, customer psychology, automation, or investing. Those skills then help you start another stream, and then another. Income streams multiply because your skill set multiplies. The growth becomes exponential instead of linear. A job gives you one skill set. Multiple income streams build a library of abilities that continue to generate value. Another powerful benefit is that additional income streams buy back your time. As your streams grow, especially passive ones, you start earning money without needing to constantly work for it. This extra income can be used to reduce debt, invest more, save more, or increase your financial cushion. As your savings grow and your investments compound, you gain back more of your day. You might start working fewer hours at your job or eventually leave it entirely. Income streams give you time freedom, and time freedom gives you the opportunity to create even more value. It becomes a cycle that accelerates your financial growth far more quickly than relying on a single paycheck. Having multiple income streams also prepares you for unexpected economic changes. Industries evolve, companies shut down, automation replaces roles, and recessions strike without warning. People who rely only on a job are hit the hardest during uncertain times. But those who have built additional streams, no matter how small, have backup plans. They can pivot quickly, shift their focus, and rely on their other earnings until things stabilize. This ability to adapt is priceless in a world where nothing stays the same. But perhaps the most life-changing part of building multiple income streams is the sense of control it gives you over your future. Instead of waiting for annual raises, hoping for promotions, or relying on someone else's decisions, you take charge of your financial destiny. You build assets that belong to you. You create value that lives outside of your employer's system. You develop confidence, independence, and a sense of possibility that a single paycheck can never provide. You're no longer trapped in a cycle of working only to pay bills. You're building something bigger, something that grows with you, something that supports the life you truly want. Creating multiple income streams is not just about earning more money. It's about securing your future, protecting your stability, diversifying your risk, expanding your opportunities, and moving from dependence to freedom. It is one of the most powerful decisions you can make, and it transforms your financial life from fragile to unstoppable. Investing in skills accelerates your financial growth because skills are assets that appreciate over time, multiply your opportunities, and increase your earning potential far beyond what a traditional job can offer. Most people think of investments only in terms of money, stocks, real estate, businesses, but one of the most powerful investments you can ever make is in yourself. Skills are the foundation of every income stream, every career advancement, every business, and every financial breakthrough. Unlike money, which can be lost or taken away, skills stay with you for life. They grow as you grow, and they compound just like financial investments do. Skills give you leverage. When you gain a valuable skill, such as marketing, coding, sales, design, public speaking, investing, editing, or communication, you instantly increase your value in the marketplace. With every new skill, you give yourself the ability to earn more, charge more, negotiate higher pay, and create more streams of income. A single skill can open the door to freelancing, consulting, creating digital products, starting businesses, or even building passive income assets. The better your skills, the more opportunities you unlock. And unlike a job, which pays you only for your time, skills pay you in results. Results are scalable. Time is not. Skills accelerate financial growth because they make you adaptable. In a world where industries change rapidly and new opportunities appear constantly, being stuck with only one skill set is like having a phone with no apps. You're limited in what you can do. But when you invest in gaining diverse, high-income skills, you're able to pivot quickly whenever the economy shifts. If one industry declines, you can shift to another. If your job becomes unstable, you can transition into freelancing or online work. If you want to start a business, your skills become the building blocks. This adaptability gives you security that a traditional job simply can't provide. Every skill you learn compounds with the ones you already have. Think of skills like ingredients. Alone, each ingredient has value, but when combined, they create something far more powerful. For example, knowing how to edit videos is valuable. Knowing how to write scripts is valuable. Knowing how to market videos is valuable. But someone who knows all three can build a YouTube channel, offer editing services, create viral content, sell courses, or help businesses grow, all from the same skill set. That's exponential value. Skills compound, and when they compound, your income grows faster than it ever could from a single job that pays you a fixed amount. Skills also allow you to earn money without needing large amounts of starting capital. Many people hesitate to invest because they think they need thousands of dollars to begin. But with skill investments, the main currency is time, focus, and discipline. You can learn high-value skills from free or low-cost resources, practice them consistently, and turn them into income. This makes skill building one of the most accessible and affordable forms of investment. It doesn't matter where you start. What matters is that you start developing abilities that can eventually pay you for years. Another reason skills accelerate growth is that they increase your earning ceiling. With a job, your salary has limits. Companies budget salaries, offer fixed raises, and set role-based pay caps. But with skills, there is no cap. A skilled freelancer can raise their rates whenever they want. A skilled creator can reach millions of people. A skilled investor can grow their portfolio exponentially. A skilled business owner can scale their income without limits. Skills give you the ability to break out of the financial box that traditional jobs keep people in. When you invest in skills, you also invest in confidence. Confidence changes how you approach opportunities, challenges, and risks. When you know you are capable, you're more willing to take steps others avoid, starting side projects, reaching out to clients, raising prices, launching products, or building passive income assets. Confidence comes from competence, and competence comes from skill building. The more you learn, the more empowered you feel, and the more empowered you feel, the faster you progress in your financial journey. Skills create independence. When you rely solely on a job, someone else controls your financial destiny. But when you rely on your skills, you gain control. Your income becomes something you can create, not something you wait for. You no longer depend on a single employer or corporate structure. You can generate money on your own terms from multiple places using abilities that no one can take away from you. This independence is one of the most powerful forms of financial freedom. Investing in skills also sharpens your thinking and problem-solving abilities. You become more resourceful, more creative, and better at identifying opportunities. Where others see obstacles, skilled people see solutions. This mindset difference is what separates those who struggle financially from those who succeed. Skills change your perspective, and perspective shapes your results. Over time, skills lead to greater income stability because they allow you to diversify your income sources. A person with multiple skills can work a job, freelance on the side, start content channels, build digital products, or invest intelligently, all at the same time. This creates a layered financial system that supports you regardless of economic conditions. Even if one area slows down, the others continue providing income. Ultimately, investing in skills accelerates financial growth because skills create value and value creates income. The more value you can provide, the more money you can earn. Skills are the engines behind every thriving career, every successful business, and every wealthy individual. They multiply your opportunities, strengthen your confidence, expand your earning potential, and give you the freedom to shape your own financial future. Investing in skills isn't just a strategy, it's a long-term asset that appreciates, compounds, and pays dividends for the rest of your life. This is why skill building is often the most important investment you can make, especially when your goal is to earn more than a 9-to-5 job and create true financial freedom. Turning side investments into long-term assets creates financial freedom because assets continue to pay you long after the initial work is done, giving you control over your income, your time, and your future. Most people treat side hustles or small investments as temporary ways to make a little extra money. But the real power lies in transforming these small efforts into lasting income, producing assets. When you shift your mindset from quick cash to long-term ownership, you start building a financial foundation that grows stronger year after year, regardless of how much you work. An asset is anything that continues to generate value even when you're not actively involved. This can be a digital product, a rental property, a YouTube channel, an automated online business, dividend-paying stocks, a skill-based service turned into a system, or any investment that keeps operating over time. The more assets you build, the more income you can generate without sacrificing your hours. This is the opposite of working a job where you only get paid when you're present. Assets break that link, allowing your effort to outlive your time. Turning side investments into assets requires an understanding of leverage. Leverage allows a small action to create a large result. When you create a digital product, for example, the work may take a few days, but it can sell for years. When you buy dividend stocks, your money continues earning more money through quarterly payouts. When you grow a social media page, your old posts continue bringing in new viewers and new revenue. With leverage, you multiply your results without multiplying your effort. This is how assets become the engines of long-term wealth. The beauty of building assets is that they compound. In the beginning, progress may seem slow, almost invisible. Maybe your first product sells only a few copies, or your first investment earns only a few dollars, or your first video gets only a handful of views. But every asset you create adds to your financial base. Every effort builds on the previous one. Over time, the income from these assets begins to stack, growing stronger and more consistent. One day, The combined income from your assets becomes meaningful enough to pay bills, cover investments, or even replace your job. That's the quiet power of compounding. Small actions today, creating massive results tomorrow. Creating long-term assets also gives you stability. Jobs can disappear without warning, but assets continue to produce value. They don't take vacations, they don't get sick, they don't rely on a boss's approval, and they don't stop operating when economic conditions get tough. When you own assets, you own your future. You control your income instead of waiting for a paycheck controlled by someone else. This shift in ownership is one of the most powerful changes you can make in your financial life. Side investments also give you the opportunity to experiment without the same level of pressure. When you rely on your job for survival, you can't take many risks. But when you work on side investments, you get to test ideas, try different income streams, and figure out what works best for you. And each successful experiment becomes an asset. You learn what creates value, what customers want, what sells consistently, and what scales easily. Over time, you develop a collection of income, generating systems that work harmoniously together. Another reason turning side investments into assets creates freedom is that it unlocks time flexibility. When your bills are paid by assets instead of hours, you gain back your life. You can spend more time with family, travel, pursue passions, learn new skills, or expand your investments. You're no longer waking up every day thinking about how many hours you need to work. You're thinking about how many assets you can build. Time freedom becomes the ultimate reward for all your early efforts. Plus, assets give you the ability to scale your income. A job has limits, but an asset can grow infinitely. A well-performing digital product can reach thousands of customers. A YouTube video can go viral. A rental property can appreciate in value. A business system can be automated and expanded. Once an asset is created, it can multiply without needing more hours from you. This is why wealthy people focus on building and owning assets, not working more hours. Long-term assets also create generational impact. Unlike a job which ends when you stop working, assets can continue earning for years, even decades. They can be passed down, sold, or expanded. This means the financial foundation you build today can benefit not just you, but your family and future generations. Your work creates a legacy. But perhaps the greatest benefit of converting side investments into long-term assets is the freedom of choice. When your income doesn't depend on a job, your decisions are no longer controlled by financial fear. You can choose work because you enjoy it, not because you need it. You can take breaks without losing your income. You can retire earlier, travel more, start new ventures, or simply live at your own pace. Assets give you autonomy, the freedom to design your life without limitations. Turning side investments into long-term assets isn't about becoming wealthy overnight. It's about consistently building sources of income that grow with time, compound with effort, and provide stability, freedom, and independence. Each asset becomes a step toward financial liberation. And the more steps you take, the closer you move to a life where money works for you, not the other way around. If you're still watching, here's the truth. Nobody builds real freedom by relying on one source of income. It's the people who plant small seeds early, stay consistent, and think differently who end up winning big. You've now seen how simple side investments can grow quietly in the background while you're busy with life. And if you start even one of them today, your future self will thank you. So don't just close this video and forget everything. Take action while the motivation is fresh. And if you want more real, practical breakdowns like this that actually help you make more, save more, and build real wealth, make sure you subscribe, drop a like, and share this with someone who needs it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, where we'll take the next step toward your financial freedom.